2.0. Welcome to Essence 2.0. How are you all doing? My name is Peace George, as you all know, and I am super duper happy to be here today. I hope everyone can hear me. Right. Before we go into what today is all about, I'd like to introduce our community to you. This is the Fierce Federation. This is a community where we help you to fight limiting beliefs. We help you to live with intentionality, to express your gifts and talents, to reinvent yourself, to build your capacity, and more than anything else, to excel. So what is Essence? Essence is your core. Essence is your quality, all that you are, all that you're meant to be, your significance. Now, what is unleashing your X factor? And why did we choose that topic? By the grace of God, the understanding is that people don't live at their best. And so when you get to unleash your X factor, you are the best that you can ever be. You give your best, you do your best. You excel in every area of your life and help other people to excel too. So what is the X factor? According to Google, X factor is defined as a variable in a given situation. That one thing that could have an impact on any outcome. I want you to just let that sink in. A variable. That one thing that can help change an outcome. It can make a whole lot of difference. Now, if you want to call that your talent or your gift, well, you can't. But then some of us have more than one. And for that reason, you get confused. But when you kind of like drum it down to just that one thing, it is that one thing, that special quality that can change any circumstances at all. And it is usually hidden. I found mine, I unleashed mine, and I moved from stuck to unstoppable. And today, this is why we're having this summit today, this virtual summit today, so that you too can unleash yours. Today, we will be solving for X. Do I sound like a mathematician already? Well, if I had to explain the X factor using algebra, can everybody hear me? If I had to explain the X factor using algebra, it would be you just bringing it down to the lowest factor. That's what we always say, down to the lowest factor. So it is that one thing given to you by your creator. That one thing that when unleashed will transform lives and revolutionize your world. That is your X factor. Now, if I had to explain this using the Bible, if you remember in Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, God tells Abraham and Eve, be fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth, subdue it. That same command has been given to you and I. So what are we doing about it? Now, this same command, God repeated it in Genesis chapter 9, verse 7, when he said to Noah, be fruitful, multiply. So I am pretty sure that this multiply means a lot to God. So he has given you that X factor so that you can multiply it and in turn multiply others. Now, a lot can happen in our lives when we shift our thinking and start to make use of that X factor, to multiply that God-given characteristic, that God-given quality. That God-given quality is what stands you out, is what makes a difference. And the world needs it. Something in us, something in you, something in me is always trying to unleash itself. It could be the next great vision or the next great version of you. So it's about time you let it go. Just unleash it. But then some of you can't do it alone. Some of us can't do it alone. I needed a push and I got it. And since then, it's been amazing, super amazing. I recently became an author, and that you can just imagine how happy I am right now. And I just couldn't just keep that to myself. I had to say, you know what? Let us do this, because this is what your creator wants. He wants you to be your best, live your best. I don't know if you've ever heard the term, let your kingdom come. Your kingdom comes when you start to make use of your X factor. But how do you make use of something that you don't even know you have? The X factor, the essence of your existence, the X factor, that one thing that differentiates you, the X factor, that thing that helps you impact others, the X factor, that one thing that makes you reach your goals without even sweating it. Everyone has it. And if you don't already know it, you need to define it. And if you already know it, you need to refine it. And that's why you're here. So let me say congratulations. The X factor, your ability to add tangible value to other people and to the world at large. So what are you waiting for? Look at Apple. If I had to explain the X factor using tech, I would say Apple. Apple stands out, consistently merging art and technology into new products. Their X factor has given them constant innovation. Let's talk about Amazon. Okay? We all know Amazon, risen to the peak as the go-to organization for ordering just about anything online and getting it as soon as possible. That's their Prime membership, isn't it? So what is yours? What is your X factor? What makes you different from your neighbor? What is it that you have that the world is waiting for? To answer, honestly, you have to start asking yourself some questions. What makes you stand out? And you are the only one that has this type of X factor because it has been encoded in your DNA. And it is in the likeness of your maker. You're not a bastard. Okay? You're Abba's girl, you're Abba's boy. And so Bami Kelba will be facilitating how to recognize your power and purpose and how to just multiply your X factor. Who are you? That's another question you should ask yourself. Now, Kenny Crown will be facilitating the self-awareness session. It is important for you to know who you are. If you don't know who you are, you can't be what you should be. How do you offer the most value to your world? That's leveraging. And we will be hearing from Mr. Fire himself, Fire Maker. I'm just so super excited. He will be talking about leveraging on your life. Can you adapt to any situation in order to unleash your X factor? Now, that's another question you need to answer. And Sylvester Jenkins 3 will be helping us to answer that question, but just by talking about resilience. And I'm the resilience queen. I understand that resilience helps you to unleash the best, to unleash your X factor, to be the best you can be. So he will be answering that question. So what is stopping me? That's the other question you should be asking. What is stopping you from unleashing your X factor? Most of the time, these are limiting beliefs. Pastor Olu Olabode will be helping us to answer that question. Now, how can you expand on your X factor? That's the sixth question you should ask. The depth of it, weight of it, height of it, and the length of it. Every area. Aligning your growth with your X factor. Shirley will be facilitating that session. This is Essence 2.0, and what we are about to do is to help you define and refine the factor that has been divinely deposited in you, just to reshape our culture, just to rebuild our society and our nation, to restore lives, to heal the world at large. This is an opportunity for you to stand out, to innovate, to develop new solutions that the world needs. The X factor, solving for X. So there is always a problem out there that you need to solve with your X factor. Your X factor is kingdom given to you when God said, be fruitful, multiply, and you have to make use of it. It is important. You cannot continue living in mediocrity. You cannot continue wasting away. And most of the time, we don't even know we do these things. But until you unleash that X factor, you cannot be the best you want to be, the best that God has proposed for you to be. And so today, I want you to get your pen, get your journal, and let us just enjoy the moment. Bamike Oba will be going first, taking us on unleashing your potential. Then Bamike Oba, if you're in the house, please join me here. Unleashing your potential. Bamike Oba in the studio?
Yes, yes, she is.
Ooh.
Hello, hello, hello,
Wow,
hello,
wow, wow,
hello,
Mama.
hello,
Thank
hello,
you for
hello,
joining me. So
everybody.
very quickly, I am going to read out Bamike Obadeyemi's bio. And you know, I respect this woman a lot. And this is not just me calling speakers to come and talk here. No, they're not talking. They are oracles of your creator. So when you listen to them, you will get those, you will be propelled to just move and make use of that X factor. She's my mentor by the grace of God, and I love her so much. She knows. So Bamike Oba Adeyemi, she's a certified speaker, trainer, and coach. She's a marriage mentor and an author of many books. She is passionate about young people and believes that she has been given the responsibility to propel young people into pursuing their God-given destiny. This she carries out on her mentoring and coaching platform for young adults called Bamike Oba Mentoring Academy. And by the grace of God, I have really, really benefited from that academy. And today she's here to give value to us. Welcome, Bamike Oba. You know we love you, Oma. You know we
Thank
love you.
you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bamike Oba. Mama, do
Thank you
your
so
thing. It's so
much.
nice to
Thank
have
you,
you.
thank you, thank you, thank you so much for having me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on wherever you are on this side of eternity present. It is such a great pleasure to be here with my darling sister and to, by the grace of God, do justice to this topic, how to unleash your potential and influence. Um, I know that she had said quite a number of things um, in her introduction about what the X factor is and all that, and and she has taken us through the beginning of beginnings. And what I
Yeah.
mean by that is the book of Genesis.
Mm.
Now, there's no way you're going to talk about unleashing your X factor or your potential or impact without going first into the book of books, without going first into the manual. And by the grace of God, every time I have the opportunity to either speak or sing or write, I make reference to the book of books. And I make reference because everything that we are on this side of eternity present stems up from what is on the mind of the Creator, Elohim, from the beginning of time itself. Having said that, what is X Factor? What is X Factor? And yes, you heard the convener, you know, gave us the definition in mathematics. It after that I went to school, so I'm not gonna go through that route. What is X Factor? And I said it is the combination of your greatest strength and your biggest challenges. Now, note, I did not put weaknesses, but your biggest challenges. Now, Your X factor is you coming to the place of knowing who you are. I know someone is going to talk about identity, in the course of this conference. But you cannot manifest or display or express your X factor if you don't, first of all, deal with the subject of identity.
Mm.
And so, who are you? A lot of us, when they ask us, who are you? Majority of us are quick to say, I am Mrs. If you're married, I'm Mrs. Bamike Adeyemi. I'm a mother of three. I'm a this, I'm a that. That is the role that you play. These are roles that you play. But who you are is the essence of you. Who you are is what was on the mind of God when He was articulating creation. What was on the mind of God when He said, "Come, let us make man," and in that word, "Let us make man," you were factored into that dynamics. And so when God said, "Let us make man in our image and likeness, and let them, produce, let them multiply," yes, the multiplier effect, the X factor. So the multiplier effect of you is knowing who I am and functioning from that place of who I am, realizing that I have the combination of my strength, the combination of my witty abilities, the combination of those things that do not look like much at the moment, which we may call weakness. But as you begin to grow and begin to, evolve, you find out that your weakness or challenges, like I would like to put it, begin to diminish in the face of you realizing what your strengths are. So the more you lay emphasis on your strength, the more the weakness or the challenges begin to diminish in the face of you coming to your true essence and true identity. I don't know if you got that. Just let that just sink in a little bit. So your X factor is your greatest strength. So what are your greatest strengths? I wrote a little I wrote something down, and I just want us to do a little exercise where you are with your journal. List out three of your greatest strengths. Write out three of your greatest strengths, and then write out three of your biggest challenges. One of my greatest strengths is my ability to be spontaneous. That's and that I realized for a very long time, that I would just be I would just be put in an environment, and the next thing, without even thinking it, without even premeditating it before, I just begin to it's like something is unleashed, something is released, because another word for unleash is release, becoming unrestrained. So it's like something is unleashed, and then I begin to flow. Now, at first, I didn't really take it serious, but in recent past, I began to really look at it. And so, because I knew that now that is one of my strongest superpower, I now began to look at, okay, how am I going to harness this spontaneity and begin to see that, okay, there's wealth in this spontaneity that God has given me. And so how do I begin to lash on it so that I can serve my world? Now that's one of my greatest strengths. One of my biggest challenges is that I am an impatient human being. I am impatient. And I'm like, let's just do this and get it over with. I am very, very that's the word, impatient. I don't have suru for those who are Yoruba inclined. I can't be somewhere and just be like, okay, 1 hour, 2 hour, and then just be still. No, I'm very like, let's just do it. Now, to an extent, that is a strength, but majorly for me, it was more of a challenge, because now I begin to look at everybody like, can't you just do this and get it over with? Can't you just say like, let's just do and go? But over time, I know that God has also used that impatience to like intentionally now slow me down. As in, can you just take a chill pill? It's not everything that will just happen overnight. Now that's one of my biggest challenges. Now I've shared one of my greatest strengths, and then one of my biggest challenges. Now bringing these two together is where your X factor, the place where those two connect. If you can see my sign, if you can see my hand, the place where your greatest strength and your biggest challenges connect. That point, when you know how to harness it, it's where your X factor is. So you come to the place where your strength and your weakness come together, and then they unravel that wealth of resources, that wealth of strength, that wealth of abilities that God has put in you, and then you begin to shine forth from there. Am I making sense? Now that is just to lay the foundation. Now, how do you unleash your potentials and influence? First of all, I've mentioned something about identity, which is the core. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kemi Tijani. I see you. That is the core. That is the first place. You must know yourself to grow yourself. That was one of the quotes in the 15 laws of growth. You must know yourself. Now, because you know that, because you know yourself, because you know who you are, you cannot begin to flow from there. In continuing, I wrote about 3 to 4 steps. How do you unleash your potential? Number one is that you must first of all believe. I know my sister is coming to do justice to how our belief system enhance the manifestation of our X factor, so that we can color the world beautiful. So first of all, you must know that you are an agent of transformation and evolution. What do I mean by that? That who you were 10 years ago is not the person you are today. Who you are last year is not the same person you are today. Because if you are not growing, if you are not evolving, then the other thing is happening. You're dying. So you must, first of all, now that you know that I know my identity, I am aware of who I am aware of the capacity that I carry, I'm aware of my strength, I'm aware of my weakness, I know the things that make me think, I know how my creative juice flow, I know what to do to get into my creative flow. I know what to do to get into that spontaneity grace that God has given me, that I'm now latching on it like seriously. I know what to do. I know what triggers impatience. I know what triggers anxiety. I know what triggers me, coming into my shell and just blocking the world away. So understanding those things and knowing how to manage them is a process of your evolving over time. So you must believe that you can evolve. You must believe that, okay, this is how I am today, but this is not serving the purpose of my assignment. This impatience is not serving the purpose of my assignment, especially when your vision begin to pull people to you, and you know that some people, they're going to take their time when you give them certain assignments. They're going to let me go through it. And me, my own is from the first line to the last line. I have captured what is already there. So, but then someone is like reading it, line by line, word for word, and you need to and you know that you need the input of that person. So you are going to, whether you like it or not, generally take chill, because it is the end result that I want. Now that's one of the ways that my own impatience is being dealt with, so that I can have the capacity to accommodate other people in the course of the journey of transformation, in the journey of purpose, in the journey of unleashing my X factor. So believe that you can evolve. Believe that your challenges can diminish to propel and become strength over time. Secondly, you must act like you have become what your vision or what your focus is. Let me reiterate that again. Act like you have achieved the goals that you believe you want to have. Now, that is not fake it till you make it, but this is using the power of visualization. And I will take you back to the book of books to buttress this. Now, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was formless and void, and the Spirit of the Lord hovered upon the surface. And God said, "Let there be." Now, before the God saying, there was a picture on the mind of God. And that is why, that same ability has been imputed into our DNA to also to have the ability to visualize, to see it. And that's why Proverbs will say, as a man thinks in his heart. And when we are thinking, we think in pictures. When you think in pictures. So the second thing in unleashing your X factor, in unleashing your potential so that you can influence your world, is that you must act like you've achieved. Let me use an example. When I began the journey of transformation, I became tired of life. At that point, there was a major crisis in my home, and then we were evicted from a 3-bedroom apartment, and then we had to go and squat somewhere, myself, my husband, and 2 young boys. Now, that transition took 2 years, and while that was happening, I was like, but I am more than this, Lord. I know that you have spoken. You have said so many things concerning me. I know my abilities. I know my capabilities. I know I'm brilliant. I know I'm this. I know I'm that. But why is this happening? Why is this happening? And I realized that it was part of the vision. It was part of the process to get to the place called there. And I am still on that journey of from here to there. But that was a major shift, because I came to a point where I had to look at myself in the mirror. I said, no, now I did not bargain for this life. Now this is not the picture I've been carrying. What's happening? Something was distorted along the line, and there had to be yes, you don't need to fake it to make it. There had to be a realignment, and I began to picture, okay, I don't want this. I don't like this place that I am. What can I do? And God began to show me teachers. I remembered when my journey of transformation started. And I remembered where. The first place, I remember looking for 5,000 naira in 2010 or 2011. We were in that apartment. Now, the apartment where we went to squat for 2 years, the bedroom is just a little bit bigger than this, my office. And then we put our foam down, and then on that foam, myself, my husband, and the 2 boys would sleep. And then our clothes and everything was in Ghana must go. Now, those were 2 years that humbled me and made me realize the thing that God has put in me, and also made me realize that prayers alone cannot get you there. Because I want to believe that I'm speaking to kingdom-minded people, because I'm going to be, say some things. Prayers alone cannot do the work. Prayer works, remember, but prayer alone is not enough. Because we are in a covenant relationship, and in covenant relationship, because we are God's extension in the earth realm, and for that reason, there are covenant rights and responsibilities. Now, a lot of us want to lash on covenant rights, and then we shy away from covenant responsibilities. So God said, "You're good. You're the light of the world, the salt of the earth." That's your right. That's your right by covenant. Now, what is your responsibility to make sure that you shine forth as light? The things that you go through, the teachers, and the experiences that God brings you to, that God takes you through, or life takes you through, so that when you are being squeezed or expanded or enlarged, the light, the illumination of the Godhead that is embedded in you by virtue of the things you go through begin to shine forth. What do I mean? So at that point, yes, prayer works, but responsibility must be done. There is a responsibility. You can't say, "Father, Lord, this," and you fast and pray, and then you're not showing up at work in the right time. You're not diligent. See the man diligent in his work. You're not diligent. You're not loyal. You're not committed. Your word, you don't have integrity. These are parts of our covenant responsibility. So let me go back to my story. And so I looked for 5,000 naira then. I shall registered for Daystar Leadership Academy. And I went. And in those 3 to 4 days, something shifted. Something shifted. And I knew that, no, you cannot unsee what you have seen by virtue of, God bringing teachers. And that's one of the reasons some of you are here. This is one of the, the teachers, God is going to expose you to teachers that will, by virtue of what they've gone through, say 1 or 2 things that will cause a stirring in your heart. Cause a stir. So you must, now let me go back to that story, because I'm still on point 2. Act like you have achieved the goals before you have it. And so in one of the sessions, Reverend Sam came to class, and then he talked about metamorphosis, transformation, and there were splashes of pictures, and they were just too beautiful. And he said something: picture the future that you desire. Paint a picture of the future that you desire. The picture that was shown us in that class was what Lagos, Nigeria will look like in 2030, 2045. And it was too good to be true. But those pictures stuck with me. And he said, now go home with this example and go and begin to paint a picture of the future. So believe, act like you have achieved the goals. Now, when you are painting the picture of the future, the difference between this is that you don't just put the picture there and then be looking the thing. No, there is something, just like it's a dynamic in scriptures. And this was what happened with the story of Jacob and Laban. You know how God showed him a vision about the goats and the lamb, and then there was a transition going on in the picture he saw, and then he came out and replicated it. He had to work on it. He had to work on what he saw. So act like you have achieved the goal. Now, when you put the pictures on, whether it's in your vision board or your whatever, you begin to act towards it, because it causes a consciousness. It causes you to begin to align in such a position that for you to be able to be that, something must move. Your mindset must move. Your devotion to God must move. Your attitude to work must change. It just begin to, so you're being pulled into that. But if you don't have a picture of the goal, you just, nothing will happen. So the second thing is act like the goals that you have achieved or you want to achieve. It's not fake it till you make it. It is the power of visualization. The same power that, God told Abraham when he said, lift up your eyes. Lift up your eyes, because with the inner eyes, with the eye of the spirit, you can see farther than what your physical eyes can see. And that's if the eye of your essence, let me use it that way. If the eye of your essence cannot capture what is on the mind of God for you, so that you are able to influence the world, you will be doing the world a disservice. You'll be doing the world a disservice. Now, let me move quickly. Number 3, identify the gaps. Identify the gaps, because in believing that you can evolve, and in acting like you can achieve the goals, you will find out that there will be challenges here and there. So you must be able to identify those challenges. One of the many gaps that a lot of us face is the knowledge gap. I don't know how to do it. You see yourself as a teacher. You know that when you stand before people, you can teach, you can. So how do you know that you have that grace, but how do you harness it? How does it become that little become much? You give yourself to finding out, you give yourself to knowing, you give yourself to searching, you give yourself to deeply searching. And I want to use that scripture. I'm sorry that I'm using, but that's how I communicate. It says, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall. Seek knowledge. If you're saying, I don't know how to speak to people, but I know that God has called me to be a speaker to nations. So what do? You begin to find those who are speakers or those who are teachers, and you begin to learn. You begin to learn. You begin to learn. So that's how you close the gap of I don't know. And I don't know what to do, or I don't know how to do it. If you must unleash your X factor, you must be able to close the knowledge gap. You must be able to close the knowledge between you're here to get there. What do you need? Do you need to go to school? Do you need to go to training? Do you need to change your environment?
Hello, hello. Hello, yes. We lost Banker there. Hello, hello. We lost Banker there. Yeah, network, I guess. Right. So, wow. The chat box. Oh my God, yes. So she talked about visualization. Did you get that? Did you get your journals? I told you. Wow. So you have to be the picture that you desire. And I'm like that, you guys. Like, I see myself in 10 years' time and I carry myself that way. That is so important. You have to identify the gaps. Yes. Shelley will be talking about growth later tomorrow. So stay tuned. Yes, Mama, you are back. Welcome back.
Okay, can you see me? Okay. Oops. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to. Okay. Sorry about that. I think something went wrong with my laptop, so I should thank God for alternatives. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, please? Hello? Hello, can I get a response? Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you very much. So I was on the third point, identifying the gaps, and I talked before the thing froze on me was the knowledge gap. The second gap, that you need to close as in order for you to unleash your potential and influence is the timing gap. Sometimes we say it's not the right time. Now, of course, you will. There's some things you will jump out to do, and then you will know that no, I shouldn't. Maybe I should have waited a bit. So understanding the timing, the time of life, understanding the time, that the wise man in scripture says there is a time for everything and a season for every activity. Now, there are seasons of life. There are seasons of sowing, and there are seasons of reaping. There are seasons of harvest. You must know the seasons for you as a person. Now, I'm going to use myself again as an example. Where I am right now, in my Kairos and Chronos timing, I'm in the season of harvest. The season of seasons of harvest. What do I mean? For the many years of just being there, being consistent, and just going and just doing it. Some days I didn't feel like it. Some days it looked as if God had turned his back. Some days the scripture wasn't even working. Some days it was like, can we just forget about this vision thing and let everybody just go and see somewhere? Now, all of those times, and that is why there is no overnight success, because process is spelled time in God's calendar. For you to be able to get to the place where your X factor begins to influence other people, you must understand the timing of God for your life. You must understand the time and season. And when you understand the season of sowing, there are times when you will just go, okay, example, there were times when in my early days of ministry, they will call us to come and minister somewhere. And then we'll go. Now, because as a matter of principle, right from the get-go, the Lord told me, when they call you to come to churches or the gathering of saints, where church conference and all that, do not place a price on what I have given you. Now that was like 20 something years ago, and that principle I still work with it. So in those early days, they will say, oh yeah, Oba, come and minister somewhere, and then I'll carry all the battalion, and then we'll go. And we will do like, and for those of you who know me, I will do it as if no, we're not doing anything else the next day. So I will, and then we will go, we will leave, and then they will give us jollof rice, 5 alive, and then one big envelope, and you think that something heavy is there. Only for you to count it, that is like 50 naira notes, and before you say Jacob is maybe it's like 5,000, and you have carried like how many people, Now those were the days of little beginning. And now, compared to now, that with the same principle intact, these days now, that is even far from my head. I'm not even thinking of what do they have to give, because I know the one who has called me. I know the one who is sending me on herald. So he's the one that is responsible to take care. Because the truth of the matter is now, I'm giving you an example of times and seasons. Because one of the things that cripple us is understanding the times that we're in. So these days now, we just go do what we were supposed to do, and then the thing is fatter. and then you can give your people, and they're like, wow, this is or say this weekend is going to be unlicious, that kind of a thing. Now those are two different seasons. Now if I had truncated the assignment based on upon all the thing that we did, upon all the prayer and fasting, I will pray and fast, and then go there. And is this thing that me I'm not doing? No, I would have truncated destiny there. But for the mercy of God and for the journey, I had to learn obedience through those little checks and balances to get to here and to still be going to where God is taking us to. Now I'm talking about timing. So you must know the timing for your life. You must know the timing for everything that God has given unto you. You must, because that is the only way you'll be able to unleash the potencies, the essence of God, the dimension that God has put into you. And that's how they will come. Once upon a time, I remember it clearly. In my university days, I was invited to the University of Ife. It was a ladies' conference. And so we went from Ado Ekiti, Ondo State University, to Ife. And then they had sang, we sang and everything, and then I was called to come and speak. And I got on stage, and as I opened my mouth to begin to speak, I was speaking and singing at the same time. I was speaking and singing at the same time, and the thing baffled me because it wasn't what I prepared. Now that was the beginning of spontaneity that I talked about earlier on. And then it was just about, they called me banker in school. Come on, let's go and do this. And I just went and I did it, not paying full attention to it. But over the years, I have come to realize that it is a grace and a gifting. And so when the Lord said, make a divine statement with an African signature, and you're going to use 3 tools: sing it, say it, write it. That experience in 1998 or thereabout at OAU Ife was the beginning of saying it or speaking platforms and all that. So you must understand timing. The third thing is the inspiration gap. I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like doing it. No. But if you must unleash potential, if you must influence, you must be able to rise above feeling like it. Because you've got to do it, you've got to show up, whether you're feeling like it or not. Lives are depending on the grace. Lives are depending on your X factor. So if you're feeling gloomy, now of course there are days we feel blue, and there are days we are up high there. We know that. But you must develop a system within you that beyond I don't feel like it. You must. This is what is coming to my mind. David encouraged. You must be able to encourage yourself beyond the encouragement around. I don't know if you're making sense to someone. So you must rise above that. I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like no. I need to write. God is saying, yes, God is saying, write a book. And you're like, who will read it? I don't feel like, what do I know, Seth? The one who prompted, who laid that in your heart already knows what you have. And so when that thought and desire begins to come, you pay attention to it, whether you feel like it or not. Because at the other side of rising above that inspiration gap is our lives that are going to be touched and transformed because you rose above. I don't feel like doing it. You push yourself to be able to do it. And the last one in this identity gap is comparison. Oh, I used to be a corporate in that place. Comparison. This one is better. Oh, I'm not enough. I'm not even tall. I don't even know how to do this. And you're just giving yourself all manner of excuses. You cannot unleash potential. Your essence cannot be embraced by the world if you are feeling less than who God made you. The scripture says we are made in the image and the likeness of God. What that means that we are small gods, that you have the same capacity on the, that God has, because you are an extension of him in the earth realm. That is what it means. And that's why the devil is afraid of us. And because he's afraid, because you know that once you come to the fullness of your essence, when you come to the realization, when you become aware of the God essence that you carry as a creative being on this side of eternity present, you are a danger to the kingdom of darkness. And that is why God is calling us through platforms like this to unleash our X factor, so that we can depopulate the kingdom of hell, so that we can go to those of us who have been sent to the mountain of media and entertainment. We can go and pull down the Jezebel. We can go and exalt righteousness. We can go and not carrying the Bible in our head, like, but when we get into spaces, they know, they can smell the essence of God, and they see diligence, they see commitment, they see that these ones are a new breed, because you know your God, and then you show up as an excellent person, because that's what God has called us to be. So you cannot afford to compare yourself. Paul was saying it. We are not of those who compare themselves with them, because when you do that, you are telling God you didn't do a good job. You're saying you didn't do a good job. So let me recap that again as I go to the last part of this, activating your unleashing your potential and influence. I said, believe that you can evolve. Believe that you have the capacity to become better, the best version of you per time. Number two, visualization, the power to be able to capture what is on the mind of God concerning that space, concerning your coaching business, concerning your teenage ministry, concerning Eyesight, concerning Fierce Federation, concerning brand marketing, concerning personal branding, concerning you know what it is, concerning your ministry. You can capture, you can see with the eyes of God, you can see with the lens of God what is on his mind. And once you can see it, you begin to walk towards it, and it becomes a physical manifestation, a tangible reality on this side of eternity. And then the third one is identifying the gaps. And I talked about the knowledge gap. I talked about the timing gap. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity. I talked about the inspiration gap. You must rise above, I don't feel like it. You must become your own inspiration. You must become it. You must be able to fan into flame the resources, the juice and everything that is in you. When it looks as if everything around you is looking closer. But because you know that nations are tied to your neck, nations are waiting for you, you have to shake it. Isaiah says, rise up and shake up the dust, shake it off, shake off complacency, shake off anxiety, shake off I don't look like it, shake it off and step into your X factor, step into the true essence that you carry from before time, that was on the mind of God. Now, in closing, I want to share 3 scriptures, because I said, allow me. There's no way I will speak all this. I will not go back. Don't vex if that was the thing that we were not about it. But yes, as we were saying, that's the comic side of me coming to play. Okay, now 3 scriptures to activate you into releasing or unleashing or becoming unrestrained, because that's another definition of unleash, becoming unrestrained, coming out of being bottled. When this analogy is coming to my head, when you have a bottle and that's maybe shaking it, and then because of the force, the thing wants to come out, but it's not coming out. And then once there is a release, that is the thing, becoming unrestrained. Now, three scripture. The first one is Luke chapter 2, verse 52. And I'm going to paraphrase. Jesus grew in wisdom, stature, in favor with God and a man. For you to unleash, remember there must be a growing. Jesus grew in wisdom, in stature, in favor with God. So once takes me back to the first point, believe you can evolve. Evolving is growing. Jesus evolved. Jesus grew. There was transitioning happening in Luke 2:52. Remember that there must be a growing. Intelligentially, you're growing. You're building capacity. You're growing in stature. And what came to my mind was bodily exercise profited little. And that little goes along, because when whatever form of exercise you find yourself, that was in stature. Whatever form of exercise, what exercise does is that it releases one of the biology people help me. It releases dopamine, and dopamine is like the joy factor of your X factor. And when there is joy in your heart, there's no way you'll be gloomy. You can't be gloomy and joyful at the same time. So Jesus grew. So there must be a growing in your intelligence, in your capacity to be more, to do more. There must be a growing in your stature, your feet. This body is the engine room for the assignment that God has given you. You know, when the Lord gave me an analogy in 2019, July 2019, and he said, your body is the engine room. Now, if this body knocks, forget all the vision and the dream to take over the world. Once this engine knocks down, that's the end of that vision. That's the end of that project. And so he said, take care of this engine room. And how do you take care of it? Physical fitness. You grow in stature, because that's what stature is. You're built. You know what to take in, what not to take in. You're smart. You know all that. Now the next one. So when there is joy activated, like I said, you can't be gloomy and be beat down. The second scripture is Isaiah 61. Once you have experienced the freedom of becoming unrestrained by society, labels, boxes, opinions of men, the next step is to begin to express your God-given beauty and light. Arise, shine is an action word. Arise. It's not a suggestion. It is not if you where you may or is mandatory. No, it's a command. Arise, shine. Now that you are unleashing, it's time to now begin to show up in the world, to express the essence of God in you, to express your supernatural intelligence, to express your witty inventions, to express every grace that God has given you, so that you can color the world beautifully. And the last one is Matthew 5:14-16. It says, you are the light of the world, a city that is set on a hill. So there's no way you unleash your X factor and you want to be the best kept, the next best kept secret. X factors are not best kept secrets. Those who operate in the X factor, because your tribe will seek you out. Jesus was saying, when he healed that was it the leper now? I say, make sure you don't tell anyone. He did the guy didn't need to tell anyone. People saw the difference. And by virtue of the difference, people will see that something has shifted in you. And by virtue of that, they'll be like, okay, so what is it? What is it about you that has changed? You know, something. This is not the person I know yesterday. This is not the banker of last year. Something has shifted. And then when they begin to engage you, you have no choice but to begin to draw from the well of transformation that is taking place in you. And by that, you're already affecting someone else. You're really unleashing your X factor. The essence of God that has your DNA in it is showing forth, because you have begun to take all these steps, and you're activating the essence, the X factorness, if there's any English like that. And so people must see. So you are the light of the world, a city that is set on a hill that cannot be hid. So I don't want them to know me. I don't want them. They don't need to know. You don't need to want them to know. They will find out me. They will know where the is it where the carcass finish on the eagles gather. They will know because there will be a pulling. There will be a pulling, and then the nations will say, for the world is in eager expectation of the manifestations of the sons of God. When the sons of God begin to manifest in the various mountains that God has called us to enforce the kingdom dynamics, the kingdom of this world has become the kingdom of our God and His Christ, and it shall reign forever. When you begin to operate in your God essence, when you begin to unleash your X factor in truth, and you know whose you are, you know who you are, and so you go forth into the marketplace, and you begin to show the radiance of God's glory. Nations will come calling for you. Nations will come looking for you. There's no two way about it. If you don't want to be known, you will be by force, by fire. They will know you. Somebody will be somewhere talking about, and before you know it, the dots are connecting. The dots are connecting. So let's recap again for the last time. The three scriptures to activate, to unleash your X factor. Growing. Look 2:52. Tie it to the first step of unleashing your potential. Believe you can evolve. Luke 2:52. Jesus grew in wisdom, in stature. There must be a growing. There must be an evolving into a better version of you, or the best version of you. Arise and shine. It's a commandment. It's a verb. It's a doing. It's a doing. Arise from complacency. Arise and become unrestrained from societal labels and boxes and opinions and status quo and stereotypes. Arise out from there and begin to color the world beautiful. And as you begin to color the world beautiful, you cannot be a best kept secret. You are no longer a secret. It becomes known. A city set on a hill that cannot be hid. I hope with this viewpoint of mine, I have been able to convince you, not confuse you, that you must unleash your X factor, especially in this time and season, because God is depending on you and I to cause a transformation in the world, so that the kingdom of this world will become the kingdom of our God and His Christ, and He reigns forever. And how does He reign? You shine forth the essence of God. You color the world beautiful from the point of love. Every of these things, if you do it and you're not doing it from the place of love, it is not acceptable. That is the you're unleashing your X factor. That is the basis. That is the ground, Kimmy. Love must be the essence. Love must be the reason. Love must be, because for God so loved the world that He gave. The God so loved the world that He gave Peace George. And so Peace George must express all the dynamics of God, not from a selfish point of view, but from the place of compassion. Jesus had compassion, and He was prepared to move. God bless you.
Wow, Mama. Thank you so much. Oh my, wow. That was powerful. Thank you. Believe that you can evolve. Wow. Thank you so much. It's been such an amazing session. Guys, let me see your light bulb moments. Woo! Wow. Well done. I hope you have enjoyed this session, you guys. Thank you very much, Ma. Now, if you have any questions, please let's see your questions very quickly, so that Oba can take the questions, so that we can proceed. Thank you. Wow. So, Mama, I'm just going to read out some things here.
Okay.
To unleash, there must be a growing. Absolutely. Thank you. When you begin to paint a positive picture of your future, then you're set to become a candidate to volcanically erupt the X factor within. Whoa. Powerful. I like that you kept saying God's essence, the God essence. It sounds so much better that way, and it's a good reminder that you can't keep what is not. It's not even yours in the first place, so you have to give it. You cannot be a secret. You have to be out there shining. You're a light. Thank you so much, Mama, for this session. We appreciate you. God bless you, Ma. Whoa,
Thank you so much for me.
whoa, people. So our next guest, wow, is somebody that I respect so much. Fire a Maker is our next guest. I believe is in the house. I'm just quickly going to read out his bio as he joins us. Whoa, bro. So nice to see you. You look good. Wow. So Mr. Fire is here to set everywhere on fire. Literally. Literally. So I'm going to quickly read his bio so you know that these people ain't playing, man. They're not playing. Oba just set the place on fire. What are you gonna do, Mr. Fire? What are you gonna do now? So yeah. He is a certified integrated marketing communications professional and business consultant with over 13 years of experience in brand management, corporate communication, and organizational strategy. Emeka has trained over 500 creators, coaches, and leaders across 5 continents and helped them build powerful, profitable brands for more influence, impact, and income. Emeka has been featured on Inside Business Africa, Connect Nigeria, Hot FM, The Nation, The Sun, and many more. He is a tech entrepreneur and founder of Karakuri, an idea and innovation company. His mission is to help 10,000 individuals and businesses optimize potential, increase visibility, and grow their income. You need to help me grow my income, Fire Maker. Like, really, we need to talk. Whoa, talk about the X Factor, people. This is the X Man, and I am so happy to have you here today. Bro, unleash the X Factor. Unleash the X Factor. I'll let you go. Thank you. We can't hear you. I think you're on mute. Okay, bear with us, people.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Absolutely. Yes, we can.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
The floor is yours, sir. The floor is yours.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome to Essence Conference 2021, Unleashing Your X Factor. Thank you for that session, Mrs. Bamike Oba. That was really, really insightful. And, it was eye-opening. I learned a lot. And I'm happy that, you pretty much laid the foundation for where I'll be speaking on and also building on. Once again, thank you, Peace, and the entire team for putting this together. And we all know why we're here. We're here because we all want to unleash our X Factor. However, in unleashing your X Factor, there's something I need to talk about. I would talk about my topic, what I'm supposed to share today, before I go right into it. So I'm talking about leveraging your life so that you can unleash your X Factor. That's my topic. But I'm going to be focusing deeper. I'm going to be taking it deeper and breaking it into different parts that would help you understand why you need to leverage on your life and why you need to start, unleashing your X Factor. One thing I want to say today is, I'm sorry to say this, but trust me, this is not another round of inspiration. No, this is not another round of inspiration. This is not another conference that will motivate you. No, this is not another feel-good gathering where we just get a bunch of speakers to speak and everybody's like, oh yeah, fire. Please, no. If you think that this is where we are, no, then you are in the wrong place. This is a place of instruction. This is a time of instruction. We have moved past the dispensation of inspiration. We are now in the dispensation of instruction. Once have I spoken, twice have you heard. You are not here to hear things that will inspire you. You are here to get your next instruction so that you can unleash your life and take over your world. I repeat, you are here to get your next instruction so that you can unleash your life and do what? Take over your world. You're not here for inspiration. You're not here for motivation. You're not here to get excited. You're not here for that. You are here for instruction. If you are ready to get the next instruction that will move you to your next level, I need you to get ready. Hold your pen and your paper and say, yes, I am ready. Put it in the comments and say, yes, I am ready. I am ready for that instruction. I am tired of where I am. I have heard so much. I've gotten the certification. I've done everything. I've gotten to the camp meeting. I've read my Bible. I've prayed, but I'm tired of inspiration. I want my next instruction and I need direction to get going. If that is you, then I am here for you. I am here to help you get that instruction and ensure that that instruction is clear. It is pretty clear. You're not going to miss it. At the end of today, you will catch some things. For some things are taught and some things are caught. You will catch something and you would run without instruction. So are you ready? Talking about leveraging on yourself, leveraging on your life, you need to understand something. Everything was created with vision. Everything was created before it was seen. For all that you see was in the mind of someone. Like what Mrs. Bami rightly said, visualization, understanding the gaps in your life, understanding the gaps in the system, and using the God factor to fill in those gaps. However, I have realized that a lot of us have become too lazy that we forget to dream. We forget to have visions. Now, let me break it down for you. You can have a purpose, but you might not have a vision. I repeat, you can have a purpose, but you cannot have a vision. So what is the difference? The difference, your purpose is why you are here on earth. Your vision is where you will take that purpose to. So a vision is a destination, a final point where you would rest. Your purpose is your reason for being. You can have a reason for being and still not have a vision. Everybody has a purpose, but not every one of us is living in line with our vision. I repeat, everyone has a purpose, but not everyone is living in line with their vision. You know why? Because they have stopped dreaming. Now, science teaches us, I'm not optometrist, but I've done some research and I've read and I realized something. What do I realize? That what you see is light, and this light passes from the cornea, which is the first part of the eye, and that part is formed like a dome and moves to the lens, and from the lens it moves to the retina. Now, from moving to the cornea to the lens, the cornea and the lens do what? They take this signals, this light, and they pass it to the retina. What does the retina do? The retina takes it and moves it to the optical nerve or valve or something, and that part, in what it moves it to that part as electrical signals, and these electrical signals is interpreted in the brain as what we see as sight. Guess what? In studying that, he hit me. The Holy Spirit told me that, do you know that some people see, but between seeing and the interpretation of what they have seen, there have been a dichotomy. Something has gone wrong. So guess what? You can see a scenario, you can see something, and you would see something else. So the interpretation of what you see will not become your manifestation of what you want it to be. In other words, you can see and see limitation. You can see and see fear. You can look and see fear. You can look and see limitation. You can look and see limiting beliefs. Even with all your degrees, your certification, you can look at something and say, oh no, this is not for me. But you will say, Emeka, you don't understand. Yes, I understand. What you see is what you become. What you see is what you become. For every time you look at something, you are not just seeing it. That thing you are seeing is interpreted in your mind as something you should be. You are looking at your relationship, but you are seeing something else. You are looking at your life, but you are seeing something else. You are looking at the time that you are spending here, and you're seeing something else, and you're wondering, why am I not seeing what Peace George is saying? Why am I not seeing what Mrs. Bamike is saying? Why am I not seeing what Emeka is seeing? Why am I not seeing what Ola Olabode is seeing? What is wrong with my eyes? Do you know what it is? It is because I can't see what you see. Your eyes are made for you. Your vision is made for you. In the Bible, it tells us in Genesis 30, Genesis 37, when Joseph told his brothers his dream, He said that the moon and stars and the 7 planets or 7 elements will bow to me. That was his vision. He told them what he was seeing. Guess what? They couldn't see it. But rather than help him see it better or interpret it, they decided to hate him. Because to them, they were like, how can you, the baby of the house, tell us, your elder brothers, that we will bow to you? It is not possible. But guess what? God only gives one person the vision. He doesn't give 2, he doesn't give 3, he doesn't give 5. He gives one person the vision. God has given you a vision. You have a purpose. God has added a vision to that purpose so that you will get and rule your world. Leverage on the things, the skills, the abilities, the giftings he has given you so that you can unleash. But that cannot happen if you do not see. So what do you see today is my question to you. What are you seeing? When you look at yourself, what do you see? Who do you see? What do you call yourself? Death and life lies in the power of the tongue. For everything you have called yourself is what you have become. You have not become what you want to become because you have not seen it. You are a product of your vision. For all that you see is all that you are, and all that you are is all that you know, and all that you know is all that you have become. You cannot outgrow your vision. You cannot outgrow your lead. You cannot outgrow what you see and say about yourself. No matter what they do to you, no matter the education, the opportunities they give you, because you do not see it, you cannot become it. You are a product of your vision. Any part in your life is something that you saw before. That is why you are here. And all that you know was brought to you, to your consciousness, by somebody else. Going down to chapter 40, he was taken from Israel to Egypt, sold by his brothers, found himself in the pit, from the pit into the prison. When he was in the prison, he realized that, oh, I have this gift. Let me keep doing what I was doing. Now, there's something that happened there that we do not that sometimes we overlook. You will realize that when the butler and the baker offended Pharaoh, and Pharaoh told them to go to the prison, guess what? Pharaoh handed them over to the prison guard. The prison guard handed them over to Joseph. He said, Joseph, oh yeah, go ahead, take. That tells me that Joseph must have developed himself in line with the vision he saw years ago. Now, let me break this down. Your vision is what you see. Your gift is what the world sees and knows. I repeat, your vision is for you and you alone. Your gift is what the world sees and celebrates. For the world will see your gift, your skills, your abilities, but they can never see your vision, because your vision is in your eyes, and it's not just in your physical eyes, it's in your mind's eyes, it's in your spiritual eyes. It is what you see. You are the only one that sees that vision. But I will celebrate your skills. I will celebrate your gifting. Joseph had gifting, the gift to interpret dreams. Not only that, Joseph had the gift of people management. He had the gift. And another thing you need to understand is you need to develop your gift, because your gift is for an appointed time. The vision is for an appointed time, but the gift is what will take you closer to that vision. Because man cannot celebrate vision. Man can only celebrate gift, skills, and accomplishments. They cannot celebrate vision. When they had the vision of Dubai, of what Dubai will be today, it was something they saw. The sheikh saw it in his eyes, but the world couldn't understand. But today, the world celebrates the accomplishments. The Burj Khalifa and all the other amazing places in Dubai, that is what the world celebrates, the accomplishments, not the vision. The world cannot understand the vision. The world cannot understand your vision, but the world can celebrate your vision, can celebrate your accomplishment through your gift. Now, you cannot accomplish or get to that vision if you don't develop yourself. That is where leveraging on yourself comes in. If you do not develop yourself, Joseph had to develop himself in line with his gifts, in line with his vision rather. So people management skills, financial modeling and analysis, that's what he did. The interpretation of gifts, personal branding, speaking, leadership ability. He learned all these things because remember the vision that they would bow to me. The vision was not interpreted as you become the prime minister, but the vision was interpreted that you become somebody of repute, somebody that the world will celebrate. I know I'm speaking to you, and you know that God has given you a vision as somebody the world will celebrate. But my question to you today, are you developing your gift in line with that vision that the God has given to you? Because that vision can't just come about. You need to develop it. You need to develop your gift. So it will require you that you learn how to speak. It will require that you write a book. It will require you that you submit to coaching, mentoring. It will require so many things from you so that you can accomplish that vision. You can get to that place that God has ordained for you to get to. Still talking about Joseph. Now looking at what happened in the prison. The butler and the baker came to him and they told him about their dreams. And he interpreted the dreams. They were both freed. One was hanged. The other one was restored back to his position. But there's something we miss. In the times we live in, instead of us celebrating and working in line with our gift, focusing on our vision, we end up following others and joining a pity party and saying things like, look at me, they're using my life to play Squid Game. Look at me, this world is really wicked though. Look at me, can you imagine me? My brother sold me, a whole me. And they said they love me. This life is full of wicked people. And they will come. They will now join a pity party. And they will come and tell the butler, instead of encouraging and interpreting the dream of the butler and the baker, they will say, look at you. You that you have served this king. You have served Pharaoh. It's such a wicked world. Can you imagine what he did to you? And we'll now come together. And we'll now start pitying ourselves. And we'll gather and say, see life. Imagine. After I served this organization for so long. After I did all this thing for this man. After I had children, after I did this, see how they pay me. This life is wicked though. That is what we will do. Forgetting our vision. There is nobody that has achieved anything of repute in life that has not gone through struggle. For struggle is good. Struggle forms a man. Struggle forms a woman. You are developed by struggle. We know that in birthing a child, the mother has to go through pain. Even if it's CS, she still has to go through pain. When it's normal birth, she has to go through pain because you have to push. There is a form of struggle. Pain is good for you. Never see pain as a bad thing. Never see it as something that you should run away from. But no one embrace it and say, yes, this pain is for me. For I'm going through this because I am becoming somebody that God wants me to be. I am growing every day and in every way in line with my vision. I don't care what they say. They can put me in what they call a prison. But guess what? It's a school of development. It's a school of renewing. It's a school of refreshing. It's a school that would help me get closer to where I'm supposed to. Even when they cheat you, they can't cheat you forever. Mrs. Bamke talked about Jacob and his relationship with Laban. You know the story that he was cheated. Yes, that's Genesis 30. He was cheated. 7 years, he didn't get the wife he wanted. 14 years, he got the wife he wanted. Now, with the wife, okay, fine, I'm done. I want to move on. No, don't go. Stay back. I want you to serve me. I serve you. Settle me. They've not settled me. You would understand that even up till today, such things still happen. From where I'm from the eastern part of Nigeria. And we believe so much in this apprenticeship. When you serve a master for 7 years and after that he will settle you, you realize that the best of the best apprentice do not care about whatever happens. Just like when Joseph was in the palace, They don't care about what they say. Spit on me, slap me, beat me. My mind is set. In 7 years' time, I am going to be a free man. In 7 years' time, I'm going to achieve that dream. I want to be the biggest supplier. I want to travel the world. I want to supply this market. I want people to know me. I want them to even call me Emeka Global or Emeka International or Emeka and Sons. I know it's clear to me. I see my vision. I don't care what Madam says. I don't care if Madam's daughter slaps me. I don't care if they pour water on me. I don't care if they tell me to wake up 1 a.m. in the morning to wash Oga's car. I don't care if Oga doesn't give me anything. I don't care if I have to walk, trek to the market. I do not care. But what I know is in 7 years' time, I will be settled. In 7 years' time, my story will change. In 7 years' time, I would become who I've always wanted to be. So many of us will say, no, I can't take this anymore. Can you imagine that organization? They're telling me to go and buy food for God. Me, that I'm married. Even my own husband will not tell me to do that. We forget that the most important thing to you is your vision. Your friends cannot help you in your vision. Your friends cannot die for you. Your friends can't take you out of trouble. Even the Bible tells us when Jesus was betrayed, he went to the mountain and he prayed. Before then, remember that he told Peter, don't sleep, just watch over me. What did Peter do? Peter slept the first, the second time. Peter slept. You know what that tells me? It tells me that when you are going through your darkest hour, and I know you have gone through some dark hours in your life, your friend, your husband, your sister, your daughter, your son cannot go through it with you. When it's a life or death situation, when it looks like this world is tearing apart, when it looks like things are not working for you, you have to go through it all by yourself. You know why? The vision is for you and for you alone. We will celebrate your accomplishment. We will celebrate the rebirth, the unleashing of you after you've gone through, not before. After you have gone through. After you have gone through. After you have gone through. But remember this, in the process of going through, in the process of getting to that vision, in the process of developing yourself, do not despise the people in your life. We understand the story of David. Like I said, some of us will be angry. Me that I play for Saul. Me that will say this guy when he heard they do anyhow. Now me they play song for him. Now me they calm him down. Now me they tell him story. Now me they write proposal for him. The guy they treats me anyhow. He fired me from the company. That is what we will say. David never cursed Saul. Never did he say ill of Saul. He ran away for his life, stayed in the wilderness. And guess what? Saul's son, Jonathan, came to him. You need to understand that when you are working on this vision, when you are developing your giftings in line with this vision, guess what? There will be people like Jonathan. They will come to you. These people are not going to compete with you, but they understand you. They want you to be the best that you can be. It could be a coach, a friend, a sister, a brother. They will not go through it with you, but they will guide you. They will counsel you. Guess what? Your vision requires that you become. You have a new identity. David was a poor shepherd boy. He didn't understand the dynamics of the palace. He needed to be cultured. The vision of Moses required that he goes to the palace so that he understands politics, so that he can negotiate with Pharaoh, so that he understands the mind of the people. Your vision will require that you change your identity, that you become something new. It will require it. If you let me, let's go back to the story of Jacob and even how Laban treated him and cheated him. You will realize that the vision, like what Bamike said, the vision of Jacob made him see, God ministered to him, gave him a groundbreaking idea, an idea that would change DNA. And what did he do? He began to implement it. He began to implement that vision. That required that he change his identity, become somebody of forgiving, become someone smart, understand DNA, understand genetics, And that led him to now put a mark on that tree so that when the healthy animals mate, they become. That same thing happens to you. It happened to David. David had to become somebody that understood palace politics, someone that was priestly. He had to do that because your vision will require that you become somebody else. The version of you that you are today is not the version of your vision. For some of us, we need to lose weight. Some we need to buff up. Some we need to read more. Some we need to learn new languages. Some, like Joseph, we need to understand financial models and understand new technology because our vision requires it. We're not doing it to impress anyone. Some you need to get a coaching certification, not because you want to be called a coach, but because your vision requires that you become. So vision influences identity. You become what you see. What you see is not what others see. For what you see, others have not seen it. And what you see is only shown to you. So this version of you that you are becoming, guess what? You need to walk and change your identity in line with that vision. So if you have to forgive somebody that's hurt you, you need to let go. If you have to have a family meeting and bring your siblings together, you need to do that. If you have to call your ex and tell him or her, I love you, I've forgiven you, I let you go, you have to do it. Why? You cannot catch when your hands are full. You cannot receive this vision with all your heart. You can't leverage yourself. You can't unleash yourself when there is still grudge, when there is hurt, when there is pain, when there is unforgiveness. Imagine what would have happened to Joseph if Joseph told the butler, he said, do not forget me. When you see Pharaoh, please do not forget me. Because in Joseph's vision, God planted it in him. God did not let the butler speak to Pharaoh about him immediately. You know why? If he had done that, guess what would have happened? Joseph would have been let go back to Israel. Then guess what would have happened? Joseph would have gone and said, thank God I'm free. I'm a free man. They've released me from prison. Everybody come and hear, come and hear, come and hear. My brothers were the ones that sold me. My brothers were the ones that sold me. This is a wicked one. That would have happened. That is not his vision. That was not in line with his vision. I'm saying this to let you know that for some of us, it looks like there is a delay. It looks like that person that you helped some years ago has forgotten you. The butler that was supposed to tell your case to the Pharaoh, the helper, the coach, the leader, whoever, the client, the government, get my papers, get me my visa. The person that was supposed to write you a recommendation has forgotten you. And you're wondering, but I helped you. Why are you treating me like this? What have I done to you? You came to me, you needed money, you needed help, and I helped you. But look at you now. I need help and you've not helped me. Let me tell you something. It's only if God lets a man help you that a man can help you. Haven't you noticed your life? Sometimes you want things to happen, but it's not happening because it's not divine timing. Anything before that is premature, you will die. It is not divine timing. Look at the story of David. Goliath did not come to accuse, fight, arrest, molest, violate, whatever word you want to use, the people of Israel until one, David was anointed by Samuel. Two, David underwent training. He defeated the lion and the bear. And then God saw and said, yes, you are ready, my son. I will send you a Goliath. This is how I want to orchestrate your life. Some of us would have said, but if anointed him now, they should just get him a private jet. Let him just go and let the queen just, swear him in and say, yes, you've done, boom, you've won the election, you've done that. No, God doesn't work that way. I'm telling you that for you to unleash yourself, struggle is needed. You need to fight. But you're not fighting a battle that you see. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood. You're wrestling against things that you do not see. These things that you do not see are trying to hold on to your mind, hold on to your heart, hold you down and tell you are not going anywhere. It is October, the year is ending. You see this year, I told you will not achieve anything. And you are saying, God, it's 77 days to the end of the year. I have not achieved anything. All the things I wrote in my prayer point, I have not done it. The only thing I'm grateful for life. No, you are more than grateful for life. You are grateful for the battles that you've won, but you do not know that you fought those battles. You are grateful for the skills that you've acquired, that you are growing. You are grateful for the things, who you are becoming. You are grateful for you are walking in line with your vision. You are grateful that your identity is changing, and the world will recognize you and celebrate you. That is what you are grateful for. That is what you are grateful for. So you need to understand that. That is why I'm here. I'm not here just to count seats. I'm not here just to click on likes and drop comments on social media. I'm not here because I just want to join an Instagram live or join a conference. No, that's why I'm not here for that. I am here because I'm here to fulfill a mandate. That is why I'm here. That is why I'm here. Divine timing is very, very important. It is very, very important because you have to become, and you become what you see. If David did not see that it was possible to defeat a Goliath, guess what? What you are seeing has a reward attached to it. Your vision has a reward attached to it. Every time you look and you see, there is a reward attached to it. However, you need to be careful of naysayers, backbiters, doubters, people that will tell you, like Elab told his own younger brother, what are you doing here? 1 Samuel 18, he says, what are you doing here? You are not a fighter. What are you doing here? You're not a speaker. What are you doing in this conference? You're not a coach. What are you doing in this group? You don't have a certification. Why do you call yourself a coach? You don't have a successful business. Why do you want to help other business people? But you are not married, but you are divorced, and you want to be teaching us about. Look at you. You just got married 2 years ago. You want to be coaching us. We have been in marriage for 25 years. You want to be coaching us about marriage? What are you doing here? Elab told David, what are you doing here? Why are you here? How many of us today have they told us, why are you here? What are you doing here? Why are you here? We don't want you here. In this group, we don't want you. They make you feel uncomfortable. You get married into a family, and everybody in that family is making you feel uncomfortable. Guess what? They are only setting you up for the real you to emerge, for the real you to unleash, for the real you to come together. You are the light of that family. You will change the story of that family. But that cannot happen if you don't unleash yourself. If they didn't tell David, why are you here? He wouldn't have listened. He wouldn't have even felt like, no, I will do it. I will do it. Why? There is a reward attached to your vision. Each time you think about your vision, there's always a reward for you. He asks, what would be given to the man that kills this uncircumcised Philistine, saying nonsense about my family, saying nonsense about my business, saying nonsense about my industry, saying nonsense about my dream, my vision, my identity. I say I'm the son of God. I say I'm a child of God. But people come and they say we cannot mention God in the media. People come and they want to put homosexuality in front of us. People come and they say so many funny things. They accuse men of God. They accuse my brother. They make me feel that it is wrong for me to serve my God. And all do? I keep quiet. No. What will be given to the person that will tell them, shut up and listen? It is my time. This is the era of instruction, not the era of inspiration. We are not going to inspire you no more. We are going to give the world instructions, and they will follow those instructions. This is my time. They said the man will be given the daughter of the king. He will not pay taxes. He will be settled. He will be celebrated. He will be on Forbes. He will be in the news. He will be everywhere. They will give him a presidential handshake. He would have a private jet. He would be given lands and cars and all these other things because what? He spoke up. But the thing that surprises me the most in that story was, despite everything, despite taking a private jet, despite giving him everything that he needed to accomplish that mission, guess what? He said, I don't need it. I'm telling you that you do not need it. He decided to use what he already knows. That tells me that what you have is enough. What you have is enough. Look at it. But Emeka, I'm not very fluent in English. Speak what you know. Emeka, I'm not the best speaker. Keep speaking. Emeka, I don't have a certification. Keep going. Emeka, I'm not married. Keep telling us. Emeka, I don't have a child. Keep talking. Emeka, keep moving. Why? The world needs what you have, what you do not have. I repeat, the world needs what you have and not what you do not have. Nobody cared if David killed Goliath with a sling or stones. They don't care. What do the world care? Result. Respect the people that get result. I want to repeat it. Respect people that get result. We are getting into an age where people just want to speak because they want to sound important. I repeat, we are in an age where people speak because they want to sound important and not because they are right. So you hear people say, you know what? I just launched my book. You know me, I'm an author. I just, I launched my book. I have a book. Me, I'm working on my course. Oh, on my podcast, I'm about to finish my podcast. I'm about to. People come to you to sound important. People call you, oh, coach, how are you? I'm just checking on you. You're doing well. And all they do is to tell you and make you see them as important. Do not call me to sound important. Tell them, I've heard you. Stay where you are. I am on a mission. I am in the era of my instruction. I'm not here to inspire you. Don't call me for inspiration. Call me if you need instruction. Don't call me to sound important. Tell me what you are doing. Tell me what is right, not what is important. Stop telling me and sounding important. I want you to be right. Tell me that you have done this and you are helping people. Show me and invite me into your community to come and bless your people and not try to sound important to me and say, you know what, I'm working on course. No, we don't need that anymore. This is the era of instruction. This is the era of action. This is the era of execution, not the era of inspiration, not the era of motivation. Those days are gone. If you do not know, we are not in 2021. We are already in 2022 and 2023. People would begin to see you. You've already achieved 2022. They are still trying to get the inspiration. I just need to be motivated a little bit. I just need someone to push me. I just need someone to encourage me. Oh God, it's not easy. Life is hard. No, move. What do you have? Sling, stones, throw it, hit your Goliath, move. Stop waiting. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Your vision will change your identity. You can be a shepherd boy. They said you entered a foreign land. Look at you, village girl of Jodadi. Look at you, you're not in London. You're not feeling anyhow. Thank you very much. I know. My identity is changing. They say, you want to get your master's certification. Don't worry, my identity is changing. So you are a speaker now. Don't worry, my identity is changing. Oh, you have a podcast. Don't worry, my identity is changing. Oh, you counsel young couples. Don't worry, my identity is changing. Oh, so now you're a pastor. Don't worry, my identity is changing. Keep telling them my identity is changing. Keep moving. Do not let anybody stop you. For you are working towards a vision. Your identity will change. Your identity will change in line with that vision. It will change in line with that vision. Don't let them hold you back. Imagine what would happen if David would have said, he's the first son in my family now. Elabi says it's our senior brother. He told me to go back home. I should not be here. And they say, I have to go back home. And he went back home. What would have happened to the people of Israel? What would have happened to David becoming king? Think about it. For every time you listen to them when they discourage you, imagine where you are today. Imagine what would have happened to you if you did not listen to them. Imagine. What would I be? I shouldn't have listened to that person. Imagine that. But guess what? It's not too late. This is a new day. We are in the era of instruction. I know you are excited as much as I'm excited because we're in the era of instruction. You are going to move with a newfound instruction. You're going to write and fill your notes with so much instruction because it's time to move. It is time to execute. Quickly, I need to wrap up. Now, let me also break this down. Realize that your vision would have demands on you. Like I said earlier, you have to become, for you become what you see. But guess what? You're not just becoming, you are growing. I teach this. For me, it's more about growth than it is of goals. I repeat, it is more of growth and less of goals. You're not here to keep feeling, oh, I've done this, 2 podcasts. Your vision will make you grow. In growing, you will go and get some skills. So you're growing in line with your vision. The process of growth will shape your identity. I repeat, you grow in line with your vision, just the same way you brand yourself personally in line with your vision. The process of doing that will change your identity. In personal branding, which I teach, you're not branding yourself because you feel like branding yourself. You are branding yourself because you have a vision, you have a message, you know your purpose, you have a promise. What is your promise? That I will show up every day myself. I will show up every day, even when I don't feel like it, even when I'm not feeling well. I will show up every day consistently, my authentic self. I will bring my best. Even when I do an Instagram live and it's only one person, I will bring my best. Why? I have a clear vision. In my vision, what do I see? I see myself standing on the pulpit, standing in an auditorium of 10,000 people. I see myself in Madison Square Garden. I see myself organizing conferences, seminars, and meetings that will touch the world. I see myself having programs, having a platform that the world would study, the world would use. I will change so many lives. That is what I see. And because I see that, it requires that I know how to speak well. It requires that I know how to write. It requires that I know how to present. It requires that I know so many things because that is what I see. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you see today? What do you see? Because what you see is what you become. And what you become is what the world will celebrate. Thank you.
Oh my wow. Oh my wow. Like, I feel like just jumping up. Wow. Father, we just want to thank you for just ordaining those words. Fire maker, you have earned this name. Wow. Let me see your comments, guys. Let me see your comments. My greatest takeaway today in this session is that you cannot unleash when your hands are full. Forgive. And like that's like the greatest hindrance when you think about it. That is why God put the instruction there. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive them. It has to happen. That gives you the heaviness in your heart. I like that you also said that you are your message, and so you need branding. I totally agree with that. Whatever it is that you're putting out there represents you. Yeah. And in a way, it represents God. So you have to get it right. And that is what you do. Thank you so much for every word. The chat session is just buzzing and buzzing. Oh my wow. You can look and see limitations. I like, you having to talk about the retina and and vision. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You took us to school, Mr. Firemaker. Thank you so much. We are grateful. So somebody
Thank you.
said fire has blown the roof. Absolutely. I agree.
Thank
The world celebrate your vision with your gift. Yes, yes. I mean, I have learned so much here, so many light bulb moments. We just want to say thank you, sir. So,
thank you.
how can we find you? If there's somebody out there saying, "Okay, I've got a message, and I need to put it out there, I need to brand myself," how can we find you?
Okay, I'm on Instagram at Fire Emeka. That's FAYAEMEKA. I talked about vision because it affects me. A few months ago, August 1st or 2nd to be precise, my Instagram handle, Play Emeka, of over 4,000 plus people got suspended. I tried to come back and they cut it down. And I just started my third account, which is Fire Emeka. But like I tell you, it's about your vision.
You're relentless, bro. Like,
That is it. No matter how many times they bring you down,
mm,
you keep moving. You know why? You have
wow.
a clear vision. So, guys, you can follow me at Fire Emeka, FAYAEMEKA. And I teach, I train, I coach people about personal branding. And what I do is I help you build brand authority and I move you from passion to profit. So many people are doing so many things, and it's just
You
passion
mean you need to
projects.
move me? You need to move me to
They do
profit.
not know how to move, navigate to profit. How do I monetize this gifting, this speaking, this coaching, this knowledge, this expertise that I have? How do I monetize it? That's what I do. And I also build brand authority. Let me tell you something. In Genesis, he said dominate. He said subdue, and he said dominate, multiply, subdue, dominate the earth. So, as a Christian, it is your responsibility to have authority. You can have a brand and you can have brand authority. Brand authority speaks about thought leadership. You want, when they call your circle, your space, your industry, you are one of the people that they know. Like I always say, it is not how much you know, it is how much you show. But you cannot
Joe,
show what you do not know, and we only see the authority that you have expressed. So I help
thank
people
you.
build brand authority
Wow.
and I move them from passion to profit.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was a wow session, I must say, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you so much. Yes, our next guest, you guys. Whoo. Now, before I even talk about our next guest, let me just say you can find Oba on Instagram also. Oba is at Oba Music. Oba Music One. She's there. She's a great mentor, so you can reach out to her. She's also an authority in the music field. So if you need anything in that department, please reach out to Oba. Our next guest, our next guest is Sylvester Jenkins the third. He is a great man. I respect him so much. I'm not even sure that he knows this, but he came on my show, the Messmate show, and he just kept talking about maxing out. And because I was going through a lot of things at that time, I just totally absorbed every word. I wrote it down, and I must say that God has used him to change the course of my life, because now I'm a totally different person, and I just grew even while I was in that situation. And I just really want to say, first of all, thank you, and second of all, you're welcome, Mr. Sylvester. It's so great to have you here. I am so sure that people are going to get a lot from this session also. So Mr. Sylvester will be taking us on resiliency. He likes to say resiliency. Plus, he's American, so enjoy it. I love listening to you, sir. I love listening to you. So let me just quickly read out his bio, just so you know who Mr. Sylvester Jenkins III is. He is a combat veteran, author, mental health advocate and professional speaker. He is a retired first sergeant with 21 years of military service in the U.S. Army. With 4 tours to Iraq and 1 to Afghanistan, he completed the Master Resilience Training course from the Leader Development Division. Sylvester is a member of National Society of Leadership and Success. He is a first-generation college graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Organizational Leadership, and he is certified in executive leadership and mental health, first aid. Sylvester self-published the books Winning the Battle Within and The Compass. He is a phenomenal speaker who has empowered thousands of people by helping them reach their goals, both personally and professionally. And I can attest to that. You see that book, The Winning the Battle Within? I love that book. Like, you all have to get it, but we're going to talk about that later. Welcome with me, Mr. Sylvester Jenkins III. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Peace. I appreciate that introduction, and I'm so happy to be here. Man, what can I say, man? Like, these first speakers, man, the first couple of speakers, I am astounded. They were phenomenal. They were phenomenal in everything that they brought to the table. But I want to ask you a question. Had there ever been a time in your life where you felt so confident about something or yourself, but because of what someone said or something that happened to you, all of that confidence went away? Have you ever been going through a storm that you felt was everlasting and you felt like the sun would never shine again? Well, I want to tell you 2 things. 1, you're in the right place. And 2, you're not alone. Today, I want to share with you on how to win the battle within. So allow me to share a little bit about me with you. My name is Sylvester Jenkins III. I'm from Columbus, Georgia. I grew up in a low-income single-parent home in a gang and drug-infested neighborhood where a young man was only expected to do 3 things, and that's go to jail, die, or make it out on pure luck. But instead of becoming a product of my environment, I chose to join the military and invest in myself instead. Beating the odds with no luck, all hard work and determination, I can now call myself a first-generation college graduate, a combat veteran, an author, a professional speaker, and a mental health advocate. By using this powerful 3-step formula, I'm here to share with you today. Would you believe me if I told you that you are unbreakable? Would you believe me if I told you that you are unstoppable? Would you believe me if I told you that you have an X factor? So here's what I need you to do. And I'm taking from my brother Phi. I need you to take out a sheet of paper and something to write with, because the information that I'm going to share with you today is so crucial, and I don't want you to forget it. This information will not only help you, but those around you as well. So on this sheet of paper, what I need you to do is write the words, I will. Let me say that for you one more time. I will. Then right up under that, I need you to write a capital M. Then right up under that M, I need you to write a capital A. Then right up under that A, I need you to write a capital X. And then right up under that X, I need you to write the words out, O-U-T, out. Do you see what that spells? It says, I will max out. I will max out. You see, max is short for the word maximum, which means reaching your fullest and highest potential. This is an infrastructure to maximize your X factor. Let me say that for you one more time. This is an infrastructure to maximize your X factor. So when we look at this first letter, M, and I need you to write this down, it stands for mindset. Mindset. Because the biggest enemy that you'll ever face in life is your enemy, your mind. You see, I used to wonder if mindset really mattered. But believe it or not, the things that we feed our brains are just as important as what we feed our bodies. The conversations, the images, the words, the ideas, they all shape our lives. As a teenager, I was an aspiring drug dealer, a gang member, and an occasional thief. I failed the 4th grade, I failed the 6th grade, I failed the 8th grade, I failed the 10th grade, and I failed the 12th grade. I remember being in English class my senior year, taking a huge test, and my teacher was calling everybody out into the hallway individually to give them their grades. And as she called out my name, Sylvester Jenkins, Sylvester Jenkins, my palms started sweating, my heart started racing. You see, this was the deciding factor on if I would graduate on time or not. And as we're standing out in the hallway and I'm anticipating what my teacher's about to tell me, she told me, Sylvester, I hate to break the bad news to you, but you didn't pass the test. I don't think you have what it takes, and I feel like you're not college material. My heart just sunk right there on the spot. I was devastated. Later on that day, I had to tell my mom the bad news. I rode on the bus the whole time thinking how I let my mother down. You see, my mother never graduated high school. She had to drop out because she was pregnant as a teenager when she was 16. And as I walked through the door and I got to my mom and I told her, I said, Mom, and I got a lump in my throat. I looked down at the ground and the tears started flowing down my face. I said, Mom, I'm not going to graduate high school. She picked my head up. And when she picked my head up, she wiped my tears off my face. She said, boy, you don't have a lick of book sense, but you have plenty of common sense. Now go get my belt. Now, I don't know about your mom, but my mom, she didn't play when it came down to school. But later on that year, I graduated in summer school. But me, thinking that I was too dumb for college, I chose to join the military instead. You see, I faced challenges at all levels, from drugs, alcohol, fights, loneliness, depression, and identity issues, you name it. You see, from my eyesight and what everybody was telling me, I felt like I was a failure at all levels. But you see, there's two different types of mindsets. You have a growth mindset and you have a fixed mindset. Let me say that for you again. You have a growth mindset and you have a fixed mindset. You see, a fixed mindset has a limited belief. They feel like if they wasn't born with this ability, that they can't do certain things. But then you have a growth mindset. A growth mindset is an empowering belief. This is where the X factor come into play. This is what I like to call eyesight versus mindsight. Write that down. Eyesight versus mindsight. You see, your eyesight is seeing the things that are right in front of you, like me failing over and over again in school, or joining a gang, or doing drugs. But your mindsight is seeing the things that you see, nobody else. Seeing the things that you see, nobody else. You see, your mindsight is a powerful lens that controls your actions and emotions. Like me becoming an author, me graduating college. This was me using my mindsight. You see, whenever you use your mindsight, you go into a mode of the dreams that you have, the aspiration that you have, to carry you further into doing other things. You see, if you change your mindsight, you can change anything in your life. So I want to share with you some ways that I was able to change my mind. And I did it by utilizing the 3 R's. The 3 R's stands for recognize, release, and then remove. I had to recognize that it was all me. I had to take ownership of responsibility of where I was at. I had to really take time and figure out what I need to do in order to become better. And I dedicated 1% of my life in order to self-improve every area that I was falling short at. And then I had to release. You know, they say you have to separate in order to elevate. Let me say that for you again. You have to separate in order to elevate. Everybody that you hang around ain't good for you. They said, a wise man once said that if you hang around 9 broke people, you'll be the 10. You can't soar with eagles running with chickens. So you have to release the things that are around you that are no good for you. And then you have to remove all the guilt. You have to remove the self-doubt, the self-guilt, the hurt, the pain, everything that you're going through. You have to remove it from your life. And then also you have free tools and resources that you can use in order to develop a growth mindset. You know, the Bible says, do not be conformed to this world, but the renewal of your mind. And the way you renew your mind is by using things like this right here. This summit is for everybody listening right now in order to develop that growth mindset, in order to build your X factor, in order to unleash your X factor. So now that we talked about M, we're going to go into the next letter, which stands for attitude. Write that down. Attitude. You see, your attitude is everything. Your attitude can make you, or your attitude can break you. You see, I believe there are three different types of people in this world. And follow along with me when I say this. There are three types of people in this world. You have the potato, the egg, and the coffee bean. The potato, the egg, and the coffee bean. Now, I know everybody that's listening right now might be like, what is he talking about? Or what is he about to speak on? But just follow along with me. You see, everybody faces adversity. Adversity is inevitable, but everybody reacts to it differently. So for this analogy, we're going to use hot boiling water as adversity. So when we look at that potato, initially it's hard, right? Which can be considered as strong. But when you stick it in that hot boiling water, that adversity, let's say, failed a huge test at school or lost their job. When the pandemic hit, I think that happened to a lot of people. What happened to that potato though? It became soft. It became mushy, which can be considered as weak. And then you have that egg. Now that egg, before it even touches adversity or faces adversity, it's already fragile. Now, if you stick that in that hot boiling water, let's say a divorce, a loss of a loved one, or a huge breakup, what happened to that egg on the inside? It becomes hardened, right? Previously, before it even faces that adversity, if you dropped it on the ground, it would break, it would crack. But after you stick it in that hot boiling water, it hardens on the inside. It becomes bitter. And then you look at those coffee beans. Now that coffee bean, when you stick that in hot boiling water, it changes the water from hot boiling water to coffee. The same circumstance that brought it pain, it changed the surrounding for its better. So I want to tell you this. When you change your requirement, you change your environment. So you should always strive to be a coffee bean. This is where resilience comes into play. You see, resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity. This is when you need to be a tennis ball and not an egg. You notice when you drop a tennis ball on the ground, it bounces right back up. But then when you drop that egg on the ground, just as we stated before, it cracks, it breaks. You see, resilience is an important skill, not a trait, an important skill that everybody has the ability to learn and do. Everybody, not just me, not just some people, everybody has the ability. It's so important. I want you to think about driving down a road without any shock absorbers on it. The shock absorbers represents resilience. Now, if you drive down a road without any shock absorbers on it, it's going to be a miserable ride. Whenever you hit any bumps, whenever you hit any potholes, you're going to feel the full impact of it. But if you got those shock absorbers on there, that resilience, you're still going to hit those potholes. You're still going to hit those bumps, but the impact won't be as severe. So this is why it's so important to develop resilience. So a couple of ways that you can develop resilience is, one, gain a sense of humor. Now, I don't know anybody that doesn't enjoy laughing. Now, I know a doctor that says laughter is the best medicine. And to be honest with you, it is, because laughter reduces stress, and then it also increases immune cells. And then exercise. Exercising is so good for you, not just on the outside, but the inside as well. It releases a happy chemical called endorphins. And then it also provides oxygen to the brain so you can think better, so it can breathe. So those are ways that you can develop resilience. Now, also in the process of you developing your attitude, you want to develop an attitude of gratitude. Let me say that for you one more time. An attitude of gratitude. You see, when I wake up in the morning, I'm already thankful for three things outside of everything else that I might experience. So when I open my eyes in the morning, I'm thankful for my sight. When I put my legs on the ground with no assistance, because I'm not as young as I used to be, I'm thankful for my mobility. And then third, I put my hand on my chest and I feel my heartbeat. I know I got another day at life. I know I got another day to be great. I know I got another day to unleash my X factor. So those are ways in order to have an attitude of gratitude. So I'm a recent retired Army First Sergeant. I spent 21 years in the military. I went on 4 deployments to Iraq and 1 to Afghanistan. But it wasn't until my 3rd deployment that I realized the obligation that had been bestowed upon me. You see, for a long period of my life, I considered myself a follower that transitioned into a manager. Notice how I said a manager and not a leader. I think there's a huge difference between the two, but we're not going to get into that today. So as we're getting ready to board the plane and we get that last hour to spend with our families, one of my soldiers introduced me to his family, his mother, his wife, his father, and his kids. And as we're standing there talking, I'm listening to all these great things that this soldier is saying about me. And I'm just standing there in amazement of the impact and the influence that I had on this individual. You know, they say in the Bible, life and death is in the power of the tongue. And by what he was saying, just gave me a spirit of life. But his mother pulls me to the side. And when she pulled me to the side, she said, please take care of my son and to bring him back home safe. Man, I don't know about you, but that lit a fire in me that continues to burn to this day. It gave me a sense of purpose. It gave me a sense of self-worth. For somebody outside of my family to have that much trust in me and to have that much confidence in me. This woman is giving me responsibility of somebody that she gave birth to, somebody that she raised, and telling me to please take care of him just as much as I would take care of him if he was still here. Man, that was powerful to me. So 12 months later, we came back from that deployment, safe and sound. But 6 months later, I almost lost my life to the battle within. You see, no one knew that during the time of us being deployed that I was going through a drastic divorce. No one knew that once I had came back home from this deployment, that I had resorted to drugs and alcohol. I didn't think there was another way out. I thought there was only one way, and that was to take my own life. But little did I know that when I had hit rock bottom, that it wasn't the end of the world, that it was the foundation that formed the greatest growth inside of me. You see, like I said earlier, I faced all kinds of challenges, but I had to execute the things that I need to do in order to keep moving forward. So now we're about to get into the last letter, which stands for X. Which stands for execute. And I'm not talking about the EX, I'm talking about the execute, just like the X factor. So once we have our mindset on point and we have our attitudes on point, the only thing left to do is execute. This is when you have to put in the work. The only time success comes before work is in the dictionary. You see, the amount of effort you give is between you and you, nobody else. Let me say that for you again. The amount of effort you give is between you and you, nobody else. Now, some people might find themselves in a position where they don't see themselves moving at a fast rate like a locomotive. And this is where I tell them they need to turn on their GPS. Now get ready to write this down. They need to turn on their GPS. And I'm not talking about TomTom, and I'm not talking about Garmin. I'm not talking about your cell phone, and I'm not talking about the one in your car. I'm talking about goals, purpose, and a strategy. Let me say that for you one more time. Goals, purpose, and a strategy. You see, once we know our goals and we understand our purpose and we have a strategy in order to achieve them, there's no reason why we can't reach our destination. You have to implement a GPS in order to get from point A to point B. Now, it's not easy to max out, but it's simple. It takes what I call the 3D effect. The 3D effect is the ability to be three-dimensional by using dedication, determination, and discipline. Let me say that for you again. Dedication, determination, and discipline. You know, the Bible says faith without works is dead. You can't have one without the other. You can have so much faith and still not accomplish anything. You can put in so much work and still not be blessed with a lot. So you have to put them both together. Faith without works is dead. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to you becoming who you need to be in order to unleash your X factor, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the effort. You have to be determined. You have to be dedicated behind the things that you're doing. Now, some of you won't get it until you get it. I just gave you a piece of my life. I told you that I grew up in a single parent home. I told you that I went through a huge divorce. I told you that I had drug issues. I told you I almost took my own life. Once I started maxing out in everything that I did, my whole life changed. Once I learned how to unleash that X factor, everything changed around me. I'm a husband. I'm a father of 4 beautiful kids. I've written multiple books. I graduated college. I retired from the military. The list goes on and on of accomplishments that I've had over the time of unleashing my X factor. You can do it too. I don't see why I'm any different from anybody else out there. The only difference between me and you is that I wanted it more, that I chose to put in the work, that I chose to change my mindset, that I chose to have a winning attitude behind what I chose to do. You can do it too. So once you do all these things, this is how you make it to that next level. This is how you rise to the top. This is how you unleash your X factor. Thank you for your time, and I hope everybody gained something from what I had provided and brought to the table. Thank you very much.
Wow. Wow. That was powerful. Well, I like the fact that you said the same hot water, the same hot water that boils the egg melts the coffee. Now, how about that? Wow. That was powerful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. You also talked about the tennis ball. I I understand resiliency, and when it comes to talking about it, it touches my heart so much because people give up when they're closest to achieving their goals, when they're closest to hitting that nail on the head, and then they just throw in the towel. But like you said, we should be the tennis ball that bounces back. It is important. So in becoming an X factor, the only thing that can stop you is when you don't pick yourself back up. The firemaker was talking about his Instagram account being blocked. I know, over and over and over again. But the mindset, like you said, is important. Determination. You know that all you want to do is to get to that goal. And so you don't give up, you don't give in, but you give it all that you've got. So thank you so much, sir. I think that was very powerful. And it hits me. I want us to talk a bit about your book, sir. Your book, Winning the Battle Within. Can you tell us a bit about it and how to get it?
Yes, thank you so much for your kind words as far as me bringing the information to the table. So my book, Winning the Battle Within, is a go-to guide for everybody who is dealing with that enemy that they just don't know how to overcome. Because before you can win the battle of the world, you have to win the war on your mind. So I chose to write this book in order to help other people get to that next level in order to unleash their X factor and become greater, to fulfill that purpose that's inside of them. Because I believe everybody was created on purpose for a purpose, with a purpose. Because it's just like a piggy bank. The Lord placed something inside of you. And sometimes you have to go through the shaking. Sometimes you have to go through the beating and possibly be broken in order to get it out you. So everybody been bestowed a purpose. So I just want to make sure everybody knows the proper tools and strategy in order to unleash that X factor.
Wow, thank you so much. So, make Firemaker talked about us being here not to inspire, not to motivate, but to instruct. So, if I get you correctly, Mr. Jenkins, your instruction is to max out. Max out.
Absolutely. Everybody
I
need to max
love
out.
that. Max out. So I want you to, just for emphasis sake, I want you to talk about max again so that they can get it right. Max.
Absolutely. So everybody has a highest point that they can reach, and so many people are not fulfilling that requirement of the potential that they have. They have so much potential that's left on the table, and I want to leave here emptyless. I don't want to
Mm,
leave here with anything on the table. I don't want to leave here wishing what I could have did. I don't want to leave here saying that I could have did this or I could have been that. I want to leave here the person that I was placed on this earth to be. And I feel that everybody, once you start maxing out, you can become that individual that you need to be. You have to make sure that you stay focused on that path or who you're trying to become. And the only way you do that is by controlling your mindset, your attitude, and the actions you take. Because everybody around you, you can't control them. The situation that you go through, you can't control them. We found that out when the pandemic hit. When the pandemic hit, the whole world shut down. But that was only
mm,
one thing you could control, and that was yourself.
mm.
One thing. That's the only thing you could control. And when you control your mind, you can control your attitude. When you control your attitude, you can control the actions that you take because your
Wow.
perception affects your performance.
Mm. Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. So you heard it all, people. Mr. Jenkins is saying max out. That's his own way of unleashing your X factor. Don't let anything put you down. Get up and max out. Live your life to the fullest potential. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. I know that we should have finished earlier, but it has been so worth it. And I just want to say thank you for sticking with us. We have so many people there in the chat box. Yes, I want to leave here empty. Yes, Olabode is saying that she wants to leave here empty. Thank you very much for all your contributions. Thank you for keeping that chat box alive. I love you all. We're going to be here again tomorrow at 6 p.m. We're going to have Kenny Crown, we're going to have Olabode and Shirley Fakunle. They will be facilitating 3 sessions tomorrow. I will still be here as your host, of course. It's been an amazing time and we love you all. Please join us again tomorrow as we continue to unleash the X Factor. So I'm going to leave you with just one word: max out. I love that. Thank you so much and enjoy your evening, and well, it can be afternoon or morning, but enjoy the rest of your day. God bless you all.